I challenge you from this moment forward, get addicted to outcomes and results, not information and knowledge. Nobody should go to another seminar till you get big results from this one. I've studied the least I've ever studied. I have one mentor. I listen to one podcast. I don't take on a lot of information, but I've had the best year I've ever had. I don't say that to brag, but it should be refreshing for you to hear that you don't need a bunch of information. You need the one or two things. So when you go home tonight, when you go to your hotel, look at your notes and see what one or two things out of everything will move the needle for you, and execute on that. And it sounds tough, but ignore everything else.
See how this goes. Vegas is a hit or miss.
I don't know why, but people always feel the need to tell me all about the results, what they've done, and they name drop 30 people when they meet me. When you have to realize, I don't care. Results are important, but the results should speak for themselves so we can just have a genuine conversation. I don't like when people feel the need to have to prove something right when they meet me. So the reality is the results should speak for you. What I care about more than you bragging about yourself is who you are as a person, how you treat people, and how genuine you are. People always ask me what's the best way to inspire others and inspire my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister and my wife. You don't. You live your best life. You let your results speak and the rest take care of itself. If you walk the walk, you don't need to talk the talk. So stop talking about what you've done and start focusing on proving that through your results, through your business, and through your lifestyle, because that's what matters.
Like to hit the spot. Nice little massage. Sit in the sauna, steam room, sweat it out, clear my mind, no phone. Then be ready to spit. Leave it all on stage. Let's go. About to speak again here in Vegas in front of a couple hundred people. And I'm thinking, my speech is in like 5-10 minutes. I'm zoned in, but there's 20-something speakers, so I gotta be different. They don't want more information. They don't need more information. I have to interrupt their thought patterns and go against everybody else, so here we go.
When our next speaker, he's something just out of this galaxy. So I wrote a little something because he deserves a proper introduction. And he's also written a book called 6 Months to 6 Figures, which has sold over 400,000 copies worldwide. He is the founder of the prestigious Game Changers Academy. Friends, family, Peter, Voogd!
No, this is of course I do.
Know yourself.
Now I just get up and go, cause that's just all that I know. Back then I was broke, now I'm up chasing my goals. I used to sleep on the floor, but now I get up and
Should I freestyle? Just kidding. I knew you'd say yes. So what I want to talk about is the 3 biggest breakthroughs I've ever had as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of speakers here. You guys do not need more information. I'll tell you that right now. You don't need more information. But I'm going to give you the 3 things that in the last 12 to 15 years has made the biggest difference on my bottom line results. Hopefully you can take some, you can execute them, and you can see results from those as well. But I really want to give you the things, not the things that I've learned, like Alex said, from a book, not the things that I've studied, but things that I actually have executed, not the things that I want to say to sell you something, just hands down the things that have made the biggest impact in my life and my business. The reason I want to share these things, I've been obsessed with what's working now.
And like I said, everything's changed, and it's adapt or die in this new economy. If you don't adapt, you're dead. So the first step for me was I had to get crystal clear on what I wanted. I realized it's not even about personal growth anymore. It's about knowing yourself. So for me, I had to understand who I was, how to motivate myself, how to spark my own fire, what information I need, who I need to be around, what was I willing to give up to get what I wanted. So I had to get crystal clear. And I made a one-page plan, a simplicity plan that I made that really got all the noise out of my head, because I want you guys to leave. My biggest hope is you guys leave with a game-changing action plan that you know exactly what to do when you leave here. Because I'm gonna go against a lot of people. I did not believe in myself until after I made 6 figures. It kind of caught up when I got to 7, but people are obsessed with saying you have to believe. No, you don't. Just take action like you do, or get around people that believe till yours catches up. It's really hard to believe when you don't have results. Would you guys agree? People are always like, believe it, you can get 7 figures. I know it sounds amazing, but the reality is I didn't believe I could make 7 figures coming from a small town of 7,000 people. So I realized at every step of the way, I didn't actually believe in myself. But I wrote down my goals, and I took action like I did. I wrote it down, I stayed consistent, and I was connecting with people that believed in themselves. So the first step is you have to figure out right now, what is your ideal outcome just in the next 6 months? Not year, not 10 years, not 50 years, just 6 months. Because if you could build momentum for 6 months, that'll carry over. Because the scariest thing in life is momentum or lack of it. And you want momentum on your side, right? So the first thing is, with no limitations, what is your ideal outcome for the next 6 months? Most people don't know this. They're very vague. I mean, exactly how much money you're making. How big is your team? How involved are you in the business? What are the feelings you're experiencing? Where are you living? And most people base this off their insecurities and off their past experience, not what's possible. So I need you to base this off what's possible and base this off potential, not fear, insecurities, and your past limitations. Okay, so once you have that ideal outcome and you really think about it, then you got to figure out your values of what's most important to you as an entrepreneur and as a human being. So I don't know what your values are. They could be freedom, money, autonomy, family, adventure, impact, whatever it is. If you live incongruent to your values, you'll always be stressed out. And I'll tell you this, if you build a $100 million business, but you don't have a lifestyle you're proud of, you did it all wrong. And I see this every day. I made $100 million. Yeah, but your kids don't know who you are. You're never home, and you have no lifestyle. I'd take $100K a year over that. So you have to get clear on your values. Then, this is all on one page. So you get clear on your values, you get your ideal outcome of what you want, then you rack up some reasons. This is your fuel. So what are the strongest reasons of why you became an entrepreneur to begin with? So I have bits and pieces. People always ask, how do you stay motivated, consistent, energized? Here's the deal, I really don't. There's days I wake up and I feel on fire, and there's days I wake up and I'm not motivated, I have anxiety, I'm stressed out, and I'm frustrated. But my actions for the day don't change because I have my reasons. So write down your top 10, 15, 20 strongest reasons of why you want to do what you do. Now, 10, 15 of those are BS usually. If you're not waking up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning fired up and excited, you don't have strong enough reasons, right? So you got to rack up reasons, because the reasons do come first, results come second. So once you have your reasons, now you got to figure out the one skill or one habit you need to develop. This will shed some light and reduce some of your overwhelm. Because once again, there's a lot of speakers. If information's all you needed, the world would all be billionaires. You don't need information. You need execution of the right information, and it's most relevant to your 6-month vision, right? So what's the one skill and one habit you need? And that's it. So now you have your ideal vision, you have your reasons, you have what one skill you need that you want to master, and then you write down the top couple action steps or the top results you need to accomplish. If we were hanging out in 6 months, what would need to happen in your business? I mean, bottom line, result-wise, for us to be completely satisfied and excited and fulfilled about your results. Now you got to figure out the one skill, because what I see is a grass is greener mentality, especially with millennials, where people are obsessed with information, right? So now you measure everything against your one skill. If your one skill is marketing, great. If your one skill is sales, great. Your one skill is personal branding, great, right? But you have to figure out your one skill. And then for the next couple months, go all in on that one skill and say no to everything else. Every podcast, video, conversation, is this gonna help me get to my skill and get to my 6-month vision, or is it not? So once you define your values, this totally changed my life. I realize now it changes. Money was my biggest motivator. Now it's peace of mind and freedom. You can't pay me $100 million to have someone else tell me what to do or what I'm worth. How many of you guys feel like you have that mentality where you always want to be your own boss? I'm talking to the right group, right? So I knew my value is peace of mind and family. So now, something comes across my desk. I get an inquiry, I get a request, I get a message. Does this contribute to my freedom or contaminate my freedom? If it contributes, I take it on. If it doesn't, I get rid of it. So now I have my 6-month vision. I know my one skill I need to master. Now I measure everything against that one skill and I focus on mastery versus overload. So if you're gonna take anything away from this, write down mastery versus overload. Why do thousands of people watch athletes? I was at a comedy show. Why was there 5,000 people in the crowd and 3 people on stage? Why is there 20 people on stage and 500 people in the crowd? There's learn-it-alls and know-it-alls, right? But you wanna be someone that masters their craft. So start ignoring information that's not relevant to you. What I would do at events, I would take a lot of notes and people would always brag to me at the end of the event and say, look how many notes I got. And it started flipping and I started realizing, watching people's progress and results, and it was the person who took the least amount of notes that was crushing it. Because they took the 1 or 2 things that they knew were most relevant to their business and not just a bunch of stuff that's random. How many things can you execute at once? One, unless you have a team, you could delegate, right? But I made sure I was focused on mastery because people have this grass is greener and they say, oh, I gotta learn more. Learning's easy. If anyone can do it, it's easy. So if you're learning, it's not that difficult. Executing something that you know is gonna move the needle for you in your business, that's challenging. So don't be obsessed with information. I challenge you from this moment forward, get addicted to outcomes and results, not information and knowledge. Nobody should go to another seminar till you get big results from this one. Don't read another book. Someone challenged me the other day. They said, I challenge you. I'm reading 100 books this year. This person's successful. I said, I challenge you to read 50 if you want and spend the other time you would read creating something, not consuming. So that was a big breakthrough for me. It's just clarity on exactly what I wanted. And when I would leave events, when I would leave listening to a podcast, I've studied the least I've ever studied. I have one mentor. I listen to one podcast. I don't take on a lot of information, but I've had the best year I've ever had. I don't say that to brag, but it should be refreshing for you to hear that you don't need a bunch of information. You need the 1 or 2 things. So when you go home tonight, when you go to your hotel, look at your notes and see what 1 or 2 things out of everything will move the needle for you and execute on that. And it sounds tough, but ignore everything else. Now matters more than ever. Thanks, guys. Just got done speaking. I wanted to interrupt their thought pattern and I wanted to take a different approach. They don't need information. There's 25 other speakers. So I wanted to make it impactful to where they remember 1 or 2 things. So I cut my speech a little bit short. I changed the dynamic of it. I took a different approach. Overall felt good. Another speech under my belt, impacted a lot of people. I think there was a couple hundred, maybe 500-600 in the crowd. So you guys wanting to learn how to speak, it's just having so much experience and knowing what you've created can add value that you don't need notes. If you need notes still, you don't have enough results or experience to pull from. I can come from the gut and from the heart because of the experience that I have in entrepreneurship, the ups, the downs, the failures, the successes, the struggles. But I really, being around so many entrepreneurs, thousands of entrepreneurs, I see the struggles and the failures people take. So I try to interrupt those thought patterns and those failures when I speak, because I don't see other speakers hitting on that. And I always want to go against the grain. All the other speakers say you got to believe in yourself. I say, no, you don't. Because it took me till I made $200,000-$300,000 before I believed in myself. You don't have to believe in yourself. Age is irrelevant. Experience is irrelevant. It's all about networking and having a proven roadmap and getting around people who believe. I want to engage with you. I want you to comment below. What's one breakthrough you got from this speech? What's one thing, not 2, what's one thing you're going to promise yourself to take action on after watching this speech? Let me know. I'd love to engage and comment back, but I appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. my favorite spot in Vegas as far as the healthy breakfast goes. So one last visit, then we out. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. I'll talk to you in the comments. See ya.